For Scuderia Ferrari, the challenge for the 2025 Formula One Championship also depends on qualifying. The Maranello team will continue with the new approach promoted by Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur, which places greater emphasis on race day, but starting from the front rows will be crucial to capitalize on good race pace. The Italian side is focusing on suspension adjustments to achieve a better balance for single-lap performance, a necessary adaptation to the new Pirelli tires, which feature higher operating temperatures. The problem lies in the tires, so a significantly part of the Ferrari engineers' focus has been on tire challenges and the key adaptations required for the upcoming Formula One project, which will hopefully bring the title back to the Italian side after almost 3 decades. But the new Ferrari F1 car will not abandon Frédéric Vasseur's philosophy of prioritizing race performance. The 2024 single-seater already featured non-aggressive camber and toe angles, offering good tire management, but struggling to extract maximum grip and optimize single-lap performance. Ferrari has often faced challenges in quickly bringing the tires up to temperature during qualifying, at the start of races, and after pit stops. The Maranello team is therefore preparing countermeasures for 2025, also considering the revised Pirelli tires, which feature changes in construction and compounds and are designed to operate at higher temperatures. Pirelli Motorsport director Mario Isola stated that they had attempted to shift the operating range slightly higher. He noted that, apart from Las Vegas, they had not encountered issues with tire warm-up throughout the year, even in cold conditions. However, Isola expressed his belief that warming the tires would not be more challenging with the 2025 product, describing it as identical to the previous year and seeing no differences. In designing the new suspensions, Ferrari's technical department has focused on 3 aspects: stabilizing the floor at low and consistent ride heights, absorbing curbs and surface irregularities, and heating and managing the tires. The challenge lies in finding the best compromise, addressing weaknesses without sacrificing the strengths of the SF24, such as reduced tire wear and the ability to handle curbs at low speeds without losing stability. The balance between exploiting the tires for single-lap performance and managing degradation during the race will depend on the external suspension geometry, but not exclusively. The characteristics of the internal mechanics of the spring damper assembly also play a role, as they are subject to various modifications by teams during the season, even though these changes are not visible from the outside. Ferrari's 2025 effectiveness in qualifying depends on adjustments made in this area, which will obviously not be noticeable during the car's unveiling. The case of Mercedes best highlights the importance of this aspect. The 2024 Silver Arrow suffered from chronic overheating of the rear tires, a problem opposite to Ferrari's but stemming from a common origin: how the car transfers energy to the tires. Speaking on the issue, Mercedes's trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin emphasized the importance of the internal mechanics, stating that the issue primarily concerned rear tire temperatures, which were a major focus for the team. The British Formula One engineer explained that the problem was linked to the car's setup and suggested that certain mechanical tools might be needed to address it. Ahead of the highly anticipated February 19th unveiling, curiosity is also growing about the suspension design Ferrari intends to adopt. According to various reports in the Italian news media outlets, the 2025 Ferrari will abandon the push-rod front suspension in favor of a pull-rod system. However, this change is unrelated to the goal of improving single-lap performance. On the contrary, pull-rod suspension linkages complicate the operation of the internal springs, as Sauber's technical director James Key observed in 2024. James Key remarked that, from a mechanical perspective, the design was a compromise. He noted that a mechanical engineer would never design it in such a manner, describing the pull rod system as not being an optimal solution for activating the internal springs. Beyond a slight lowering of the center of gravity, the primary advantage of a pull rod front suspension is aerodynamic and fits into a broader design concept. For Red Bull, for example, the pull rod layout was the only solution that allowed the cockpit to be moved rearward and the front section of the chassis to be narrowed, providing aerodynamic benefits such as increased usable surface area for the front wing and improved airflow channeling toward the floor. Inevitably, however, the rearward shifted chassis was also too low near the front wheels. For this reason, Adrian Newey preferred to reverse the layout and adopt the pull rod system rather than design a push rod suspension with overly horizontal linkages. To determine whether the aerodynamic philosophy of the new Ferrari will resemble Max Verstappen's Red Bull car, we will of course have to wait until February. The mechanical details will not be apparent even then, but the new Ferrari will continue to prioritize tire management without sacrificing too much in terms of qualifying pace. The overtaking difficulties caused by dirty air will be even more pronounced in 2025, making starting at the front extremely important. On paper, the 677 looks very good. With these comments in recent weeks, Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur described the 2025 car. After a 2024 Formula One season marked by ups and downs but ultimately exceeding expectations, with the Maranello team fighting for the title until the final race in Abu Dhabi at the 5.281-kilometer Yas Marina circuit on Yas Island, the new car aims to bring Ferrari back to competing, hopefully, for the World Championship. So far, according to our information, next year's car is progressing smoothly and on schedule. Some parts are already in production. The chassis has, as we exclusively reported on December 21st, passed the crash tests, and the power unit is undergoing bench tests for final refinements and checks of the few modified components, accessories, and auxiliary systems, compared to the previous specification, in a period of regulatory stability. The new car, designed by the Maranello engineers and technicians, known by its project code 677, will have significant differences from the SF24 in order to overcome the previous model's most important limitations and find performance improvements, particularly in terms of qualifying pace. Among the major changes, there will be a new chassis, redesigned to reposition the driver, now located further back, and accommodate a new front suspension. Another major change is a new gearbox casing, which will be shorter and slimmer, in order to allow for engine repositioning. This adjustment will result in a new weight distribution and reconfiguration of the rear suspension geometry, retaining the pull rod design on the gearbox itself, maximizing traction and improving tire management. The 2025 car is therefore progressing well, taking shape steadily. According to sources close to the Scuderia, the chassis has been completed and delivered to the vehicle assembly team. The power unit, while not yet finished, is delayed not due to issues during testing, but rather as part of the final development process. Once complete, it will enable the final assembly of the car, which is set to be handed over to Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc by the end of February. The integration of the chassis and power unit is expected to occur in the coming weeks, around late January or early February, culminating in the first fire-up of the 2025 car. This milestone will mark the moment the car truly takes shape, with its identity defined, ready to proceed to final assembly and stickering before its unveiling on February 19th.